Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a very special episode of Songwriting Simplified with me, Jonny Lipsham, here at jonnylipshamstudios.co.uk in Scotland, the capital of the universe. And, of course, my dear friend over here, who I'm gesturing in the right direction this time. Rich Cresswell is here with us. And we are launching our Halloween challenge for 2024, which is awesome. I'm very excited by this particular challenge. It's going to be a wee bit different than last time, and it's going to be a wee bit more awesome, and there are more prizes, which is, of course, even more awesome than it was last year. And I know I am using and abusing the word awesome like most Americans do, right, Rich? But yes, it's twice the size, twice the fun, and I think, is it twice the prizes?
I mean, technically, yeah.
Yeah, twice the prizes, yeah. So, which is very, very cool. So I'm very excited to be partnering once again with my good friend Rich. And Rich, thank you very, very, very much for partnering with me once again for the Halloween challenge for 2024. It's very cool, very exciting. So, should we tell the folks what the rules are and what they need to do to take part, and what we're going to give them to help them make their extremely scary piece of music?
Yeah. I mean, it's like you said, I mean, it's going to be sort of double the fun, double the prizes and all that sort of stuff. The idea basically is to sort of scale things down a little bit because, we gave everybody something very complex to do last time. And what we don't want to do is kind of sounds a bit like an oxymoron somewhat, but we don't want to be scaring people.
Yeah.
Around doing a Halloween challenge. So this time we've sort of tried to keep it as simple as we possibly can. The idea is that you can write a piece of music, and you can do this one of two ways. So you can use a scale of your choosing, but use the Dorian scale of whichever key you're in. And you can also write a piece of music in G Dorian flat 5. Okay. Now that's a little bit a bit spicier. Okay, but it's only really changing very little. So for that, what I've done for the G Dorian flat 5 is I've created a song with all the MIDI chords in for you already, all key labeled. Each of the events is key labeled, and we'll show you that in a moment. But we know that there's going to be people that want to mix, that don't really write music.
Yes.
So there's a piece of music that I've created that you're going to be able to download, and you can mix, and that can be your entry for the Halloween challenge. Okay, so you don't actually have to write a piece of music. You can simply just mix something, or you could be a bit creative with it if you wanted to. If you were somebody that maybe just played guitar, or maybe you just played piano, or the kazoo, or whatever it happens to be that you play, you could take that piece of music and take from it the bits that you wanted to and make your own version of it. There's no rules in regards to that particular song. You know, if you're mixing something, mix it. If you want to remix it, remix it. And then there's an extra sort of bonus challenge there for people where they don't feel they want to get involved in the mixing. They don't really want to get involved in writing a piece of music. I've created a piece of music, a song file that contains blocks of music that you can arrange and sort of recreate your own version of that song. So trying to make it really, really accessible for every single person.
So kind of like songwriting, mixing, and remixing?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. The neat thing about it is I don't really think there's going to be anybody that, would feel, oh, I can't do that, because every single thing within the challenge has been sort of looked at from the perspective of all of the people that maybe come to the show or don't, who haven't subscribed yet, which you can do now,
Yep.
by hitting the subscribe button. So that's going to give you access to the chat, and obviously if you've got any questions about it, we're going to be able to help answer them as well. I'm not sure what questions we might end up getting, because it really is, you can kind of just do what you want. All you've got to do is take one of the available song files from the workspace, download it, do something with it, and send it back. That's it. I mean, it's really that simple.
Yep.
The more creative you are with it, obviously the greater chance you're going to have of winning one of the prizes. So we've got a number of prizes, and we'll sort of get into that. But I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about it this time, Jonny?
I'm really excited because we're using a different scale. I mean, in fact, I think we're using two scales, right? We're using Dorian or Dorian flat 5, if I remember right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're giving people a lot of options this time. So it's much more differentiated than last time, which means that I mean, that's a big kind of educational buzzword, and being an educator, I like educational buzzwords, and differentiation is one of those that really appeals to most educators. And basically what that means is, it means that everybody is included and everybody has a role to play, and they have something that they can get their hands stuck into, and they have something that they can be creative with to submit to hopefully win. So I think there's that, for me, gives it just an extra level of, for me, excitement for this year, because I think we will see a lot more people kind of buy into it, because there's nothing there that is a potential stumbling block, I don't think. I think, anybody should be able to, at the very least, kind of do a remix using the, the blocks of audio that's already there, to do something creative with that. Or they'll be able to do a really good mix of, another submission, or they'll be able to, create their own song using their own instrumentation and whatever they want to do, to whatever level or degree that they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can be a professional composer like Rich is, like I am, or you can just be somebody that has only just got started, and you can still get involved, and you still have exactly the same potential to win something. Mostly because neither Rich and I can enter, so
Yeah.
that takes us two out of the contest already. But what I'm trying to say is, you can be at that kind of standard of compositional skill, or you can be just at the ground, just getting started, and this is maybe the first thing that you've ever made, and it has just as much chance to win, because the criteria is not necessarily this assessment criteria, which is another educational buzzword, is not to do with attaining a certain standard in order to win. It's to scare the shit out of both of us. That's what we want. So, and the more creative you are at scaring the shit out of both of us, the higher chance you got of winning. And so, we're not necessarily looking at, necessarily high level of musicianship, although you can go to that degree if you want. So I think, this challenge has maybe the most level playing field I think we've had so far.
Yeah, I think that the last Halloween challenge that we did, we had some immense entries. It was really hard to pick last time who was ultimately going to be the winner, and it felt kind of like we were doing people wrong, by saying, hey, you didn't win because they were so good. But we went ultimately with the most creative. Was it maybe the best recorded or the best produced? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But at the end of the day, I think it was just like, yeah, that's cool. That's creative, and I'm
Yep.
really down for stuff like that. There's a couple of questions coming in from Chris.
Yeah, he's got a belter actually.
He's talking about, having lots of entries and how will you find a way to audition all of them? We'll find a way. We
Oh,
always find a way.
even if it means we have to stay up very, very late into the night on Saturday, we'll do it.
Absolutely. And that kind of gets to, where do people kind of put their entries and that sort of thing. So if you've had an email from Studio One Plus in the last half an hour, 45 minutes, it may have been me inviting you to the Halloween 2024 challenge. To save time and for those people that are connected with me on Studio One Plus, I've sent you a request to join this workspace. All you need to do basically is you just need to accept that invite and you'll be immediately added to the Halloween 2024 challenge, which means that there's not really much you need to do other than download the assets.
Yeah, basically. And cool thing is you don't have to be a member of Studio One Plus to get involved in this. You just need a free my.personas.com account if you're a Studio One user or you have Personas hardware and you've registered your hardware, you can do this. And,
there's already 2 people that are actually in the Halloween 2024 challenge that aren't Personas Plus members. That's how quick people were able to respond and get in. So there's a number of you that may not be in the chat that I've actually sent a request to. So if you end up watching this back, check your emails because you're in. And if you don't want to take part, that's absolutely fine. You simply can decline the request and all's well. But you might be missing out.
Yeah. I got to take a wee pause in the show. I'm not one for necessarily singling people out, but I've got to single out Andy Arthur from Thunder Creek Studios. Andy's been kind of a subscriber to my channel pretty much right from the start, but he has been incredibly busy the last several years with running live sound for a whole slew of artists. He does a lot of gigs, man. And so, Andy, it's great to see you back on my shows and back in the chat. So welcome back, buddy.
Yeah, it's always good to see old faces. And just a little one there just from Chris as well, just to follow up on a question that he asked there.
Yep.
You submit an entry and opt out of prizes. Absolutely. You don't need to accept any of the prizes if you don't want. It's entirely up to you. The prizes are there really to give you some sort of an incentive and maybe a bit of a reward for taking the time out to participate in the challenge. Because all of this is going to be done via Studio One workspaces. You're going to be able to see what everyone else has done, and you'll be able to comment and kind of help out if someone's got a question. As we can help you out if you've got a question on the workspaces. And this is really kind of after the Christmas challenge, it turned out to be a pretty good idea to do this, because I think the original Halloween challenge was basically emails all been sent in Jonny's direction, which meant that that had to be curated, and then there was trying to find a way to get those listenable for both of us.
Yeah.
Which meant that people were uploading to SoundCloud. This is something that you actually don't need to do now. Obviously, if you want to upload your entries personally to your own SoundCloud after the fact or even beforehand, that's totally cool.
Yep.
That's totally cool. But if you're maybe a little bit nervous about, writing a piece of music or doing a mix and you're not sure whether you want other people to hear it, the only people that are going to be able to see this is the people taking part. So.
Yep. Exactly. Bobby Biz says he doesn't have an email from you yet.
He doesn't, because I don't think we are connected.
Uh-huh.
But I will see if he's still in the other groups, because I'll be able to just send him a request there.
Awesome. Yeah, Bobby, Rich will get you taken care of. John Hawk says, having never used Workspace, I don't know how it works. That's okay. It's actually really, really pretty straightforward. If you're not a Studio One Plus member, It's actually even more straightforward than if you actually are. But in either case, it's pretty straightforward. There in the workspace, there's some folders, and then Rich has put in there some instructions on what you need to do. So one of which is where you put your submission when you're done. So there's some folders full of resources there, which we'll show you in just a wee minute. So we'll give you a wee guided tour of it, so you have an idea of what's what. And there's a submissions folder there, and that's where you put your final completed piece or mix or whatever it is that you're doing. That's where you put it. And then what we will do is at the end of the contest, we will listen to every single entry, even if that means there are 500 entries and we have to listen to each one. We will listen to every submission.
Yeah. In fact, I mean, last time, didn't we listen to a few of the submissions a number of times because we couldn't make our minds up?
That's right, we did. We ended up with I think we ended up with our top 4 or top 5 that we listened to maybe about 3 or 4 times before we could actually, pick a podium. First, second, third, and then from there we got our winner. So it was a bit trickier, but hopefully it'll be a bit easier this time for us to decide. I mean, who knows? I mean, we'll have to wait and see what, kind of how good these entries are. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good fun. And I think because of the variety of different things that people can do, I don't think there's going to be anybody feeling left out, if they do want to take part. I think it will be a good challenge this year. I really do think that. And, there's a number of people out there that I know that already make some really cool music.
Yep.
But maybe they want to kind of test themselves in maybe doing something that they don't normally do, and that's always a good thing because we all have our little tropes and things that we like to throw into our music, and we tend to have our styles, our genres of music that we like writing in. And just maybe just try writing that in a different key, and you might actually find out that you learn something along the way as well, just by doing.
Yeah, I mean, G Dorian flat 5 is kind of spicy, but it's also kind of dark as well, which is that's really going to work because Dorian on its own is not necessarily particularly dark. It's kind of more kind of open, whereas with the flat 5 there instead of the regular 5, that will make it a little bit darker.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we're writing something, because maybe we're not feeling too confident about the flat 5, the Dorian flat 5 scale, then if you write something in Dorian, you can make use of Studio One, because we can use the scale tool within the piano roll.
That's right. Yep.
We can select the key that we want, and then we can select Dorian and hit the little checkbox so that all the piano keys that we need to play are highlighted with a blue little tab on them.
Yep.
And, we can't get it wrong then, can we?
It won't let you actually enter a wrong note or a note that does not belong to that scale. So it does lock you into a very, very strict modal sound, no chromatic passing notes, none of that stuff.
Yeah. And if you've got a black cat, as I do, you can stick it in that mode, let the cat walk all over the keyboard if and there you go.
Make sure you got a cracked mirror and a step ladder handy and you're good. Yeah.
Do that for 2.5, 3 minutes and you're all good. And that sort of gets us onto the song length, I guess.
Yes.
How long does the piece of music need to be? I think this time, make it as long as you feel that it needs to be. But keep it under 5 minutes, preferably, or don't go too far over 5 minutes.
5 minutes max. I would say 5 minutes max. But if you want to make it, 90 seconds of absolute spine chilling chaos, that's just as good.
Yeah, that's totally fine. You're going to have some bonus stuff to work with this time as well. So,
Yes.
um, I've created 2 folders within the workspace.
Yeah, should
On
we show them the workspace so they can see what
yeah,
they're
yeah.
getting into?
Let's see if we get my screen shared so that all you guys can see this cool stuff.
I will do my little. There we go.
Superb. Okay, so this is the workspace, the Halloween 2024 challenge this time, and as we can see at the top left, we've got the splash image, which is telling us what it is. And then we've got a little description here. Create a scary piece of music. Song files and samples you can use will be in their respective folders. Please upload your completed entries to the submissions folder. So it's real simple. So we've got these bonus samples right at the top. There's 2 zip files that you can download. These contain the samples. So we've got the Unearthly Voices, which is a bunch of really scary sort of sounds for creating zombies and monsters and all that kind of stuff. And then we've got some sound effects and loops, which contains lots of really interesting sounds like creaking floorboards and just nasty, horrible sounds, right? That you can use. To which you'll probably find there's a lot of good stuff in both of these folders to, sort of add to your composition. You can take these samples, you can download them, and you can use them forever for free. They are royalty free. These are ones that I created, specifically for this challenge. So you're going to be absolutely fine using those. Do not worry. I do not have lawyers coming after you. We've got the songs files. This is where you download. So you can see I've put in parentheses here just to make it a little bit easier. So you've got the download here, upload here folder. Okay. So in the download here folder, we've got 3 downloads. So we've got Halloween blocks, which is the audio blocks that we can rearrange and put in whatever order we want to create a new piece of music. We've got the Halloween mix, which is an entire song that you can download and mix, just like a traditional mix. And then we've got the Halloween G Dorian flat 5. So this contains the MIDI information about that particular scale, as well as some bonus instruments as well that you might wish to use. So there's about 20 plus extra presets for my tie that I've created. Now, obviously, you don't need to use those, but they are there and you do get to keep them. And then we're going to upload into the submissions. Now, currently, it's empty, but it won't be soon, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this is where we're going to put our submissions. And you can upload in whatever format is allowed. It can be an MP3 or a WAV file. It doesn't really matter, whatever you prefer. You can upload that into the submissions folder. Then there's an extra folder called the bin. Now, in the US, you might call this the trash. But this is just basically a bunch of assets, things that I've used to create the splash image here. And there's actually an audio guide. So on latest mix, if you play this, it's a quick guide, basically, just me reiterating what these folders are for, just in case you forget where they are, and really what the challenge is about. So that's something that you can always refer to if you're not sure. Now, the things that you download are songs, and you can just drag these directly onto Studio One and they'll open up. So if we go to Studio One, for the Halloween challenge, the song itself, if you're writing the music, this is what you're going to get. So it'll come up with a splash image and it will say, please, write a piece of music in G Dorian flat 5. Be scary and feel free to use the chords provided if needed, and download any extra assets from the workspace. So you've got the opportunity then to download things in the Workspace if you want to. So we've got 3 different instrument tracks here, and each of the events is key labeled with the chord that exists within the event. So just like before, you could take these chords and you could rearrange them, duplicate them, move them around and add them to an instrument. So you could take an instrument, for example, and you could start building up your chords if you wish, or you could just simply use them as a reference guide if you're familiar with the scale. Now, if you're writing something in G Dorian or another version of Dorian, then what we can do is we can actually make use of the scale tool here. So in the piano roll, I'm sure many of you are familiar with this. This is currently set to G Dorian. Okay, this MIDI is in G Dorian flat 5, so it's not quite the same. Okay, but if we click on this little checkbox here, we can see here all of the keys that we can play are all highlighted blue. So we just have this A sharp to C. So we're just missing out this B, and that's the scale. So we'll close that down. These are the extra Mai Tai presets that come with this song. Now you may wish to use these, you may not, but as I say, you can keep them. They are available for you to use in future projects if you wish. If you don't want to use them, you can simply say remove that track, and we can remove the tracks and instruments, and you're left with just the chords. So it's, as I say, it's entirely up to you how you wish to make use of these. Use it as a guide. You could take this, rearrange the chords, and make use of things like the note effects, for example. You could use some arpeggiations. You could use the repeater. You could combine these. You could use them with other instruments within Studio One. It's entirely up to you how you want to take the scale and write a piece of music.
Yeah, you could make multi-instruments and all sorts. Just, create some really unique sounds, and then, do some different note effects processing on them as well. Yeah,
exactly. Awesome. And I think something to bear in mind, and I don't see this demonstrated very often or as much as I'd like to see it, but if you're writing a piece of music, rather than stacking things and having multiple tracks, try combining them just as an experiment. Okay, so say for example I've got an instrument on this track, okay, which is this instrument, and I wanted another Mai Tai on top of it. Drag that directly onto the instrument and select combine in the center here, and now you have 2 instruments. If I pin that so I can keep it open and I don't lose it, if I go to the mix tab here, let's go to the console. We can see here we've got the channel, but it's got a little folder icon, and we can open that up, and as you can see, we've got this green channel here for this new Mai Tai. You can pin that open, and we've got the original one here, and they can both play simultaneously using the same MIDI information that's inputted into the event, and we can apply different effects to them. So you can be quite creative just by stacking instruments. It could be different pads, it could be using impact, you could be using sample 1 with Mai Tai, for example, Yeah. So you might have some of these samples that you've downloaded with these kind of like groans and oohs and cracks and floorboards squeaking and all that kind of stuff, and you could combine those with the chords, or just the bass line, So, if you're just wanting the bass note out of the chord, we don't even need to delete it. We can just simply mute it. so that if you decide later on, actually, that would be better, you can use different tools to sort of get you going. Now, that being said, that's sort of a very sort of brief overview of the song farm for the actual song if you want to create one. But what if you don't want to do that? So if I open up the Halloween blocks song, this is what you get. So each of these audio events, and I'm calling it blocks because that's essentially what they look like to me, right? So we've got all these little blocks with different audio in each of the events, and we can arrange these in different orders to create a new piece of music. So currently it sounds roughly like this. I might not want those strings there. Maybe I want this bit there instead. So I can just rearrange the blocks. And it's entirely up to you how you go about arranging this. And this is if you want to take part in that side of things. So there's a lot of interesting flavors, characters and colors in this particular piece of music that you can make use, rearrange them, add your own things to them. You can do essentially what you want with them. Be creative. That is the number one rule.
Yep. Creative, scary. We want to be terrified.
Absolutely. And for the mixing guys, I'm sure you're familiar with seeing something that looks like this, where you've got a whole bunch of audio files, you've got no effects on it, and everything is basically zero. Okay? Now, I've purposely written this piece of music with as little dynamic fluidity as possible, okay, to give you a little bit more of a challenge in regards to mixing, okay? So, yes, there are some dynamic elements in there. It's unavoidable because of the way that it's written. But in terms of its volume, in terms of its positioning, in terms of, things like, depth and color and all that kind of stuff, it's pretty level. It's pretty, it's not something that I would immediately rush to push out the door. So there's enough here, I think, to be able to give you enough of a challenge, up until Halloween to maybe do a couple of mixes, see which one works out best, because it's not maybe what you're traditionally used to doing. So you may have gathered from the titles of each of the tracks here, we've got strings, a whole bunch of strings. We've got brass instruments. We've got synths and effects. We've got voices, and we've got percussion. So there's lots of different elements in here. I've tried to keep it to a reasonable level of or number of tracks, so we're not overwhelming things. But if we look in the console there, we've got all the levels pretty much zeroed out. There is a bypassed compressor and limiter on there. That's for my benefit when I was kind of getting this ready for you. But that is it. So without any effects on it, it sounds like this. download it and go and listen to the rest.
Yep, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty scary, actually. There's lots of very cool elements in there.
Yeah, the idea basically was to try and think of, maybe like zombies chasing you around the house or something like that,
Yeah,
Um,
lots of accents.
yeah, and make use of silence as well. It's trying to carve out little, sections of silence before, the big drums and the stabs and all the, the weird stuff. You know, Mix it the way that you think it would sound good, against a scene like that. Zombies, just it's horrific. These horrible, like, skin falling off and eyes and gunk and stuff. So mix it the way that you think that you want to mix it, and try to give it some dynamic, in that sense. So it's okay to have things that are very quiet, because actually that creates a little bit of tension. Then all of a sudden, boom, and something went wrong.
Yeah.
So that's 3 different songs that you can download, and you can make use of one or all of these. So you can go absolutely balls to the wall and write your own piece of music, do a mix, mess around with the blocks, incorporate the blocks into here. For example, you could have both of these songs open, and you could be like, well, I kind of really like that strings sound there, so I'm going to copy that. We do the Control or Command C, yeah, and then we can go to this song and we can paste it in here. We do an audio track, and we can paste that strings in here and place it wherever we feel we need to, because by default time stretch is going to be on. So even if you're in a slightly different tempo, the only thing you might need to do is maybe just change the algorithm here a little bit, and then you're good to go. So in essence, I mean, you've got all the extra samples that you can download, all the sound effects, the creaks, the weird vocal noises, but you've also got all of the samples that you can use in here to use within the main song, or just do that, or do the other. You can do all of them, or none, or a bit. It's up to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can use all of these assets. You can use none of them. You can, if you want to use none of them, then, the name of the game then would be you're completely on your own and you're making your own piece. But you just got to use that Dorian flat 5 scale, and away you go.
Yeah. And, you've got the chords available to you already. So, you can manipulate these the way that you feel you want to. On each of these tracks, I've just added, a little Mai Tai patch on there to help you hear them, rather than it just being a blank instrument track. So if we just play through what the flat 5 scale sounds like just on its own, and this is the 7ths, okay? And again, it's one of those scales that doesn't properly resolve.
Yeah.
It's very weird, okay? But we had this before where we go... So doing that might resolve it sometimes, depending on what you're doing, yeah? So we've got the F major 7, then the A minor 7, the B minor major 7, and finish on that G minor 7 flat 5, and go crazy with it. Be as creepy and as scary as you possibly can.
Yep. This is going to sound great. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys do with all of this. And a very big thank you, Rich, for putting together all of these assets, because it takes time to create all of this stuff and create the workspace, and you put a lot of time and a lot of effort into this, and I really, really, really appreciate it a lot. And
It's cool. Yeah, if you're not in here already and you would like to be, you haven't had a notification, you can go to my profile. Okay, so if you find me here, just look for the floating head. Okay, and you'll see an option here to connect, and you'll be within my connections then, and I can simply just add you. So I'll pick on Dave here, and I can say add Dave to a workspace. I can add him to the Halloween 2024 challenge just like that. Okay, we won't pick on him too much, but we've got the option to do this. So if you want to make it easy on yourself, you can just simply connect with me here. Like we said before, you don't need to have a Studio One Plus membership, just a free mypresonus.com membership. So you sign up for free, and you can connect with me, and we can go from there. Alternatively, I will pop my my email in the chat here. There we go. So my email is in the chat. If you're not connected with me and you're not on my.personas, I will send you an invite, and it will take you through the steps of getting signed up. Okay, because it's going to tell you when you click on the link, you've been invited, but you're not a My Personas, subscriber. It's going to say, hey, you can do this. It's for free. Just pop your details in, and we'll get you going.
Yep, that's it. That's all you need. You don't need a membership Studio One Plus. You just need a free my.personas.com account. That's it. So there should be literally no barriers to entry here, especially as Rich has very kindly put out his email address to the entire world.
That's fine.
Ostensibly. But Chris has a question here. He says, will the submissions folder accept an MP4 file?
Yes, it would.
I think it would, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it does, because I've uploaded MP4 files before, to demonstrate and whatnot, different concepts within Studio One to the workspaces, as well as in the community as well. So, all those kind of like common video formats and audio formats are going to be accepted.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, most formats will be accepted. And if perchance you are uploading in a format that you find you get an error message saying it doesn't work, then please do write in the timeline there and just let us know, because you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to put a comment in the timeline and say, can't get this particular file format to upload, and we can investigate that a wee bit.
Yeah, and I mean, sort of as a little aside, go and have a look at my Exchange content, because there's a lot of instruments in there as well.
Yeah.
So there's this like hybrid percussion sound set. There's about 40 or 50 impact kits that are sort of hybrid. Some of them are quite dark and foreboding. And there's a bunch of cinematic presets as well for not even just Studio One stuff, but for if you own Zypher Serum, if you own Serum, the virtual instrument, there's some instrument presets for that here as well, and they work fantastically. That's the nice thing about Studio One, is it's not sort of saying, hey, everything within the Exchange has got to be something just for Studio One. You can have instrument presets in here for anything that you use within Studio One.
Yeah.
That's cool. So go and take it. I mean, there's quite a lot in here. Like 417. But you may find that there's a bunch of stuff in there that could be useful to you as well. So you've got all the stuff in the workspaces. You've got 3 songs to pick from. You've got 2 folders of extra samples and loops that you can use within the music. And it's free, and you can win prizes. I mean,
What's not to like?
I mean, talk about handing it on a on a plate for you, and
Yeah,
we
we
want you
pretty
to.
much have. We've made it very, very easy to get
Yeah.
involved.
And the whole purpose of this, and this is something that I said to Johnny when we first started doing these challenges, um, it's you are often asked the question, or why are you giving away stuff? You're not making anything from this, because we're not. It's completely a sort of, want for a better phrase, a charitable venture, shall we say?
Yeah,
We don't actually get anything back from this. In fact, it costs us our time and our resources to get this up and running, and to do it, at least twice a year for Halloween and Christmas. But the payoff for us is that people actually take part,
yep,
because it's very easy to sort of get into a rut where we're not finishing pieces of music, where we have lots of song folders where there's like starter songs, oh, I've got a cool idea. Oh, but I can't finish it. I'll save it for later. This is basically giving you like a brief that basically says, okay, follow this direction and get it finished. And at the end of it, there's a potential reward. And I think, finishing a piece of music is really important, and actually getting started on a piece of music. You may be putting it into a particular scale, gives you sort of like the gate to the path.
mm,
It's going to take
yep,
you on that journey to finishing the song. It's basically saying, right, you need to go in this direction. And if that's all it takes to get you to start and finish the song, then I feel like we've kind of done our job in
yeah,
helping you kind of, get to that place.
yeah. Dave Barcelo, you are a member of Studio One Plus, so all you need to do is make sure you are connected with Rich, and he'll get you hooked up into the
Yeah.
workspace.
Yeah. Ultimately, I will find you and we'll
Oh,
get
he
out.
will hunt you down.
Yeah.
That's one of the good things about the Studio One Plus community. Actually, is because everybody's in it. Once you're in it, it's relatively easy to find somebody to connect with, which is cool.
Yeah. What I don't want to do is I don't want to dox other users of the Studio One Plus community that are not,
Mm,
um,
yep.
obviously giving me their permission to share their profile name on screen. But
Yeah.
basically, you would go to the community, you would go to connections, and then there's a little search box at the top. You can type my name in, or you can say, for example, you could type Johnny's name in. You could find Johnny and connect with Johnny, or one of the other folks within the challenge as well. And again, it's just a good way to kind of keep ties with each other within the Studio One Plus community. Um, but
Yeah,
there
and
are
you'll find that I'm actually in Studio One Plus twice. I have two accounts. So
indeed. Now the prizes.
yes.
You stayed this long. What are the prizes? Okay. So
Should we go to camera view, Rich, so we can?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It'll give me an opportunity to add David incognito then.
Yes. All right, everybody. So I'm very excited. You're still sharing your screen, dude.
Let me just change this off.
There we go.
Fantastisch.
Yes. Yeah, I'm really excited about this challenge. I think it presents the best that we've put out so far. I mean, yeah, we are I think we are to a degree serving it up on a plate quite a bit, but I think in a really good way we're serving it up on a plate. So you can really really go to town and be creative. I'm really looking forward to the results. It's going to be very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've got a couple of prizes this time,
Yes.
and it's kind of that's kind of neat, really, because they're kind of different prizes, which I think will be encouraging. I think for some people. So there's two pieces of hardware. Okay. So, and these are not necessarily first, second, third prizes or anything like that. We'll probably just do it. Whoever wins gets to pick the best prize. We'll kind of figure it out as we go along.
Yep.
Okay. But there's going to be a Revelator IO24 interface.
Awesome.
There's going to be a Revelator mic, which is the one with all of the kind of like the fat channel stuff built into it. Okay, which does the loop back and all that kind of stuff. And the Revelator IO24 does all the loop back stuff as well. So if you're the type of person that likes to occasionally share your music whilst on a stream or something like that, you're going to be able to do all of that stuff, and it's really, really, really easy. Okay, so both two pieces of really awesome hardware. You also up for grabs is a 6-month Studio One Plus membership, and this is courtesy of Jay Feliciano.
Thank you, Jay.
Graciously provided us with that. And we've also got Harmony Wizard up for grabs as well again.
Awesome. Thank you to Lucas for providing that.
Yeah, so if you are in a position where you think, okay, maybe I want some hardware, maybe I want some software, maybe I want to just try Studio One Plus out because I don't really know what I'm getting myself in for. It's there available for you to win. You'll have a bit of a taste of it, I guess, with the workspaces.
Yeah, I'll give you a little
so
flavor.
much more. There's so much more that's there for you to make use of, and hopefully those will be sufficient for you guys. And I can't wait to see what you come up with.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm very excited for Halloween this year. I mean, last year it was really, really good. It was really great, but it was the first time we'd done it, and I think maybe we kind of did it the long way round. In terms of, kind of everybody had to, send me their links to SoundCloud and stuff like that. It was maybe a wee bit more complicated than it needed to be, and so doing it via the Workspace at Christmas was kind of like our way of kind of, okay, let's just change direction a little bit and make it a little bit easier. And actually, it really, really worked last Christmas for the Christmas song challenge last year. So we're doing it that way again this time with the Workspace because it really does seem to work. So it's going to be very cool. And then I know we're kind of a wee while out from this, but we have talked about, we've mentioned it in passing, there is going to be a Christmas song challenge as well. We have yet to put our heads together to figure out how that's going to work, because it might be kind of Christmas song with a twist this time. So give it, so it's maybe a non-traditional kind of Christmas thing. But yeah, we'll let you know all about that probably when we start getting into November.
Yeah, I can see our Ron has just turned up in. He's almost missed it apparently. So,
Ron.
So if we do a quick summary,
yes, let's do that.
Just because, it's a lot of information, okay, and if we surmise it, towards the end, maybe it will sort of help stick in people's minds a little bit better, because as I say, it's a lot of info. So, Halloween Challenge 2024, there's a Workspace, okay. I've already sent out requests, and I believe Ron is already in that.
Yep.
Okay.
Ron
There's a
is already in.
files, there's a files tab. Okay. And within the files tab, there is song files that you can download. There's 3 different types of song files. There's the Halloween blocks, the Halloween mix, and the Halloween G Dorian flat 5. Okay, so the Halloween G Dorian flat 5, that's for you to write a piece of music. Okay, included within that is the MIDI information about that particular scale to give you a kind of a bit of a leg up. So some bonus instruments. The Halloween mix is a sort of pre-created piece of music where you can mix that music and try to create as much dynamic range as you possibly can. The Halloween blocks is kind of a combination of both. So it's individual events that you kind of rearrange, make your own new piece of music, remix it, add it to other things. It's kind of like bonus samples in a way. There is a specific sample folder within the workspace. There's 2 of them. One's got sort of like vocal kind of eerie ghoul kind of sounds, and then the other one has got sort of more sound effects, creaky floorboards, chains, all that kind of like gross, horrible stuff. Basically, your submissions are going to be a mix, a written piece of music in Dorian or G Dorian flat 5. So any Dorian or G Dorian flat 5. You're going to pop those back into the workspace, into the submissions folder in any format that it actually allows you to upload. Okay, so it could be an MP3, a WAV, it could be a FLAC file, it could be an MP4, whatever it happens to be that you upload, that's what we'll listen to.
Yep.
And that will be your submission. And you can have as many submissions as you want.
Yep. And we need to talk about deadline, because deadlines are a thing. And I'm just going to use my...
How apt that it's a deadline.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, pun intended. There is definitely a deadline. So, the Songwriting Simplified show, uniquely for this year, falls, for us in the UK at least, it falls on the very, very early hours of October 31st, which is Halloween. So for you guys in the United States, it is Halloween Eve. That is when we will do the results. That's when we'll announce who's won what, and we'll play a selection of folks' submissions. So your deadline is going to be, what should we say, Rich? We say the Sunday the 27th, and that'll give us a few days to make our way through all the submissions.
Yeah, hopefully it takes us a few days to get through the submissions because there's that many.
Yes, exactly. So all submissions need to be in by midnight US time. So I'm going to say midnight Central Time, or 1 minute before midnight on Sunday 27th. So that would be in military time. That'll be 23:59 hours on October 27th. That is the cutoff point for submissions.
Yeah, that's my birthday.
And that's Rich's birthday.
So if you want to do me a favor, send me a song.
There you go. So we can kind of combine Halloween and Rich's kind of birthday all into one glorious celebration of creativity and music. My birthday is on October 9th.
Even better.
Which is also a Wednesday. So
one of the prizes, which is the Harmony Wizard.
Yeah.
Just won't mind me saying this, but this is his birthday. So do it for Lucas and do it for me and do it for Jonny.
There you go. There you go. I'll take that. Yes, October 9th is my birthday, and that is also a Wednesday. So there will be a special show for Wednesday, October 9th as well. So we are after the 1 a.m. mark, so we have reached the end of the show. There is a Studio One meetup in 1 hour's time, so 0200 UK time. That'll be 7 p.m. Central. So if you want to go and join that, I believe somebody has already posted a link to it. I think. I'm just going through the chat just now. I think somebody has posted a link. If you have, please, if whomever that is, please repost it. It was Kyle. Kyle had posted it. So yes, if you want to go find that, scroll around in the WeChat there, and you'll find it. And it's a Zoom link, and you'll need a password. Password is S1 Meetup, lowercase. So it's S1 Meetup, all lowercase, and that should get you in. So yeah. It's going to be very cool. This is really exciting. Can't wait to hear what you guys come up with, and I'm really, really looking forward to having the shit scared out of me, frankly. And I'm Scottish, so it's pretty hard to scare me, really, because we're tough up here. I mean, you know, we did kind of stop the Romans cold in their invasion of Britain way back. And I was there, obviously. So anyways, that's us done for the night before I start, because it is like 1 a.m. and I'm starting to get like talking like it's 1 a.m. So if you want to come over to the meetup, come join us over there. I'll be over there just for a few minutes before I do go and hit the hay, because I am starting to talk weird shit, and that's never a good thing. So we'll see you over there. Thank you very much, Rich, for joining me and helping with this challenge and putting in so much time and effort to make it happen. You rock, my friend.
Indeed, as does everybody else in the chat that's going to participate. For the rest of you, I have pity on you.
Good night, everybody. And cue music.